Welcome to the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man. Brought to you by Friend Entertainment USA, producing the best concerts for charities and corporations for over 30 years. And CBMS Consulting Services, control your business before it controls you. In association with Area 22 Productions, your multimedia streaming network. Now, here is Darren and the Music Man.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode. This is the post-Thanksgiving episode, which we'll talk about in just a few minutes, of the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man. I being the Music Man, I'm Norman, and my partner right over here, Darren Chiaffi. How are you? What's up, babe?
Good evening. How are you?
Good. How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was good. How was yours?
Mine was good. I was with my 7 grandchildren and my daughters, and plenty of food to eat.
Plenty of food to eat and all that other stuff, right?
You know, they say now that after a few days you got to dump it.
Get rid of the food.
You got to dump it.
Well, the thing is, did you have any romaine lettuce?
A lot.
You did? With the E. coli?
No, I had nothing.
Come on. It was like the first time I was like, I had an
No
out
Caesar
for
salad.
Not having to eat the lettuce, you know what I mean?
Oh, you don't like the lettuce?
I'm not a green person.
No?
I like meat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're the hamburger guy.
I'm the hamburger guy, remember? So.
Speaking of a hamburger guy and organization, we have a gentleman and an organization.
Well, we have a
here
double
tonight.
shot tonight.
Yeah, we do, but that's a surprise.
That's a surprise.
That's a surprise.
We won't mention of the surprise one
No
just yet.
surprise yet. But the gentleman organization that we have, they build kitchens in what they do to make those turkeys.
Right, it's exactly,
You
yeah.
know, and to make
build all
holiday
kinds-
events.
They build all kinds of things. They help a lot of people.
A lot of people
You know.
all over. And a lot of servicemen.
A lot of servicemen, a lot of
just the community.
Well, let's let him tell the story.
Should we do that?
Because you know what, you always do that. You always tell everybody everything.
Well, I don't tell everything. I don't tell him his name.
So why don't you introduce him, since you know you've known him a long time, right?
I've known him, I guess, a few months. We met at a network event, and Les Scheinfeld from Habitat of America, Suffolk, I should say. Welcome. Welcome here this evening.
Welcome, Les. How are you tonight?
Doing great.
What do you do for the organization?
Well, I've been working with Habitat for Humanity of Suffolk for about 15 years now as their Director of Development. And over the course of those years, I've raised millions of dollars to support the affordable home building program in Suffolk County. The organization has been around for over 30 years, and we've built over 190 homes in Suffolk County over the course of those 30 years.
Now, is this the same organization that Jimmy Carter is famous for working with?
Yes,
It
yes.
is, okay.
He didn't found the organization.
No, I didn't say that.
Most famous volunteer. As a matter of fact, even now in his early 90s, he and his wife Rosalind still come out annually to participate in what is affectionately known as the Carter Work Project. And they build around the world. Every year there's a project that they're involved with still.
How many states is Habitat in?
Well, Habitat is in 80 countries. They're in
80 countries.
every state. There's over 1,000 affiliates in North America, and they're active in 80 countries around the world right now. So we're one affiliate. We're an independent 501c3 nonprofit here in Suffolk County, working to help families who are lower income, but for Habitat would probably not be able to afford to own their own home. And it's a partnership. The families, the volunteers, the sponsors all come together.
So if I could ask you, Les, and I do this a lot, I interrupt people as they're talking, but you said that you're an independent 501, right, C3. Is it because I know we got Habitat of Humanity of Suffolk, right? Then we got Habitat of Humanity of Nassau.
Yes.
You guys are separate units almost.
Yes, we're all independent affiliates under the umbrella of the international organization.
Okay.
We have to adhere to certain standards so that we can continue to use the name Habitat for Humanity.
Right, so you have rules and regulations that
But
you have.
Habitat Nassau, our friends in Nassau County, have their own board of directors, their own bylaws, and their own financials, and they do their own fundraising, and they build homes in Nassau County.
Because I know Tracy from Habitat Nassau is actually watching tonight.
Oh, hi, Tracy.
So hi Tracy. Thanks for watching.
Hi, Tracy.
She's actually with Brian Cohen, our friend who's always watching.
Always watching, yes, and promoting.
So, thanks, Brian. Appreciate that.
Brian, I need to talk to you.
But now, explain to me, because my understanding of Habitat of Humanity before, we started talking about you guys coming on the show, my understanding was you guys built houses for people who couldn't afford it, and you would actually give them the houses.
The Habitat is a hand up, not a handout. We don't
Right.
give houses.
Right.
The
Okay, so
families-
explain that.
Sure.
Explain, what would be a situation where Habitat for Humanity would come in and help?
Well, it starts in parallel, actually. The property that we receive that is coming to us, transferred from the county to the towns and villages to create affordable housing, is donated to us.
Okay.
So over these many years, we've not had to purchase property, which some Habitat affiliates around the country have to. So that's a benefit for us to be able to help families and keep the cost of their home down.
Mm-hmm.
And the families that come to us also are in need, and they have to go through a very tough application process, and they have to adhere and meet three criteria, basic criteria of their income, which is less than 60% of the area median income.
Right.
So that defines lower income working families. Their credit score has to be adequate, their work history, and third, and for us very important, is that they understand the program and that they're going to be partnering with Habitat. They're going to be putting in almost 300 hours of their own, what we call sweat equity, to help build not only their own home, but other Habitat homes that are under construction. Right now
Okay.
we have 6 homes under construction in Suffolk County. So
Okay.
those families are out every weekend. If they're not working on their own home, they're going and working at another site in Suffolk County.
So it's very important for you to have bodies to help build these houses.
Volunteers are very
right?
important.
In order to keep the costs down, because labor, as we know, with any business, labor is the
Schools help you a lot,
biggest
right?
expenses.
Yes, and the Student Build program has been one of our most effective and successful programs because it involves thousands of high school students learning about the need for affordable housing on Long Island, but also learning how to raise money to support a nonprofit, and then coming out and helping to build those homes when they're seniors. They have to be over 16 years of age.
So you have a program where kids 16 and older can come out and be part of it, and it actually probably would fulfill a lot of their community hours that they have to put in now.
Yes.
Unlike when we went to school, you didn't have to put community hours in to graduate, right? And they want you to do that.
But
to
a
get
lot of the
started.
schools have their clubs, whether it's a Key Club or a Habitat Club, that they're
Right.
doing this kind of work and raising money and looking forward to the year that they're seniors, that they can actually come out and build.
And there are
that's-
normally a lot of kids in each school that are involved in these programs, right?
We have almost 40 high schools on Long Island that participate
And
with us.
average, how many kids per school? About 20, 30?
Well, it depends on the club, but yes, when they come out to build, it could be anywhere from 10 to 20 students that are coming out on a build day. And the same type of program exists for our corporate partners. The Sponsor for a Day is an effective team building program where an organization, a company will make a donation to Habitat Suffolk so that their employees can come out and have a day helping us build. And we need those donations to purchase the building materials, pay for the specialized labor that goes into building each home, which costs Habitat over $200,000 to build each home.
Right.
At the end of this process, the family is prepared to become homeowners through financial education, and then being afforded the ability to go and work with M&T Bank, who will work with them to get the mortgage together, which is a special mortgage that Sony May has for Habitat. And ultimately, the mortgage is based on the family's ability to pay. The family will never pay more than 30% of their income for their housing expenses, mortgage, taxes, insurance.
Okay.
So the subsidies and grants that are put on the closing from the actual construction costs, the grants, and the subsidies brings the final mortgage price down to something that is truly affordable
So
for a
basically, the
lower-income
house
family.
costs, and as I told you before, I'm an accountant, so I'm always looking at numbers, right?
Sure.
So if a house costs you $200,000 to build, somebody may be able to buy it for less than that based on their income levels.
Absolutely.
Okay, so-
Because of the grants and the subsidies that
Right,
Habitat
through
puts on
subsidies
as a
and grants and
nonprofit.
things like that. So we have a lot of moving parts here that it is very involved.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
It sounds like a great program. I know it's a great program because you hear all these great things about it. But if somebody wanted to either donate money right? Because you always, like you said, can always use the money. And there's another way to donate money to you, too.
Well, there's
right?
another way that
without
anyone...
coming out and building or just writing you a check.
Yes.
Right? You have the store in Ronkonkoma, correct?
Absolutely.
So tell us about the store in Ronkonkoma.
Back when I started with Habitat 15 years ago in Middle Island, where our office is, we had a yard that looked like something from the old Sanford and Son days for our older viewers. And rickety old wood fence would secure all of the donations that were coming to Habitat. And down in Austin, Texas, another Habitat affiliate had started a program like a thrift shop. They were reselling to help support the organization, the donations of building materials and supplies that were coming to the organization. We took that model, and right now there are over 800 restores around the country that do the same thing. Donations come to us from homeowners, from the larger distributors like Riverhead Building Supply on Long Island. They'll donate their excess materials, their scratches and dents. Contractors will donate the kitchen cabinets that are taken out from a home.
Great stuff. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we met. That was phenomenal.
Over 30,000 square feet of building material supplies, slightly used furniture that is available for sale at 50% or more off of what might be retail. And anyone can shop there and anyone can donate, and in that way they're supporting Habitat for Humanity.
And where is that store located?
In Ronkonkoma on Lakeland Avenue.
Okay, what's the address?
2111.
2111 Lakeland Avenue in Ronkonkoma. So go down there for anybody who's remodeling their house, or now, do you just sell home type things in this store, or is it?
A majority of the store are building materials and supplies and furniture, and
so you can get furniture, you can get appliances,
yeah, carpet, flooring, tile.
These used appliances?
Yes.
They're all
Yes,
used.
a lot of the stuff that comes to us, though, is also new. That's coming directly from distributors that just need to get rid of excess
How do
material.
people reach you? If they want to call you up and say, hi, I saw you, or I'm interested in being involved, I want to make a donation, how do they get in touch with you?
Thanks, Norman. It's easy because it's habitatsuffolk.org. All the information about our programs, whether you're interested in becoming a homeowner, making a donation, or volunteering as an individual or a corporation, making a donation as a sponsoring organization, habitatsuffolk.org. On the web, and 631-HABITAT is the phone number, 631-422-4828. And I'd be looking forward to talking with anyone who has questions about our program. And it's a pleasure being here and talking about Habitat.
Well, and it's a pleasure having you. I got a great question from somebody in our audience tonight, which I should have come up with this question, but thank you, Brian. I appreciate the question.
Thanks, Brian.
The question that Brian has is, if they're first-time home buyers, which I'm sure a lot of them are, right?
They have to be, yes.
Okay, so they have to be. They have to be first-time. Are you guys also offering coaching services, for lack of a better term? I'm actually using his term.
No.
Coaching services on how to maintain their house, how to, make sure they're budgeting themselves properly and paying their bills and those type of things. Are you working with them on that also?
Absolutely. The months-long process of them becoming first an approved applicant to becoming a homeowner includes financial education, includes repair programs. We partner with the CDC of Long Island, who offers these classes, in addition to our family support, family service manager, Brian, who also works individually with the families. And the best part is they're building their own home and learning the construction process along the way. So these homeowners know a lot more about home repairs and what goes into their home than most people.
Well, they're taking ownership of it, and
Absolutely.
actually, this is part of their blood, like you said, sweat equity.
Absolutely.
And it's, hey, you know what? I actually built this thing. It wasn't just built for me, and I just, went into it. So they're going to take care of it a lot better, right?
Absolutely.
Now, the designs of the home, is it just one cookie cutter type of home, or are they multiple designs? How does that come about?
Well, we have an architect who's been with Habitat for over 20 years, and his designs have evolved over the years, and it depends on the property that's transferred to us. The size of the property will dictate, and then again, the size of the family will dictate the design that we'll build on those sites. But we really believe that we're building a quality, affordable, single-family home, energy efficient, LEED status, Energy Star, and also fortified so that it will withstand some stronger winds. So we're really working constantly to put these improvements into our homes to make it the best home for our homeowners.
So is the home built based on, like you just said, the needs of the family? So if you have a family of 5, right, mother, father, and 3 children, you would have a standard size home that you
Typically a 2 or 3 bedroom house.
2 or 3 bedroom house.
And maybe 1,200, 1,400 square feet, again,
Right.
depending on the size of the property. A crawl space rather than a full basement, a storage room rather than a full garage to maximize the living space for the family. And again, depending on the property that we have, we work as best as we can to
I guess it
maximize
makes the
that space.
people feel real good about themselves too, that they have a piece of something, that they own something, and the feeling that they must get, that people help them, and now they own it, and they can do the same thing for other people now.
Yes, which they do during the course of their journey. They're helping to build other habitat homes so
And
they get to meet
afterwards,
the
I
other
would imagine
families.
they help as well,
Many
correct?
of them continue to volunteer to help us. As a matter of fact, one of our construction site supervisors, Walter, has been working with Habitat longer than I've been. He was a Habitat family. After his house was built, he stayed on as a volunteer on Saturdays, became a Saturday site supervisor, and now he's a full-time site supervisor for all these years.
fantastic.
So,
Is he in the same house?
and he still lives in the same house
God
in East
bless.
Patchogue.
That's great.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I got another question from you. Hi, Heather, how you doing? From Heather, she's actually in Connecticut, and she has furniture she wants to donate.
Oh, wow.
All right, so the question she has is, does she need to get the furniture down here? Does somebody go and get it?
Well, Heather,
how does she even find out if it's, it's something that you guys want?
Well, if it's in Connecticut, I'm going to suggest that you look up your local Habitat affiliate.
Okay.
And I know for sure that there are restores up in Milford, Connecticut, Bridgeport, and also out in New London.
Okay.
And there's probably others. So if you look up Habitat for Humanity and search your zip code, look for a restore near you to make it convenient, and that way you're supporting your local affiliate.
All right.
If it's here on Suffolk, if you contact us through our website, habitatsuffolk.org, you'll get all that information on how to contact the restore.
Would you pick it up?
And we pick up. We have
Got
3
it.
trucks.
So
that
they
are
must
picking
pick it up too.
Right, so yeah, they would pick it up. So Heather, you got that? Just reach out to your local affiliate
In
and
Connecticut.
in Connecticut, and they'll take care of you there. Thank you,
Thanks
Heather.
for
I
offering.
appreciate that.
That was a great question.
All right,
That was good.
And she said, "Awesome, thank you." So thank you, Heather. Appreciate that one.
Do you have any interesting stories that you
Well,
could
I
tell
wanted
us?
to ask, what was the biggest house you've ever built?
Wow.
That
Family size.
Yeah.
I remember a family in Central Islip that had 8 children.
Wow.
So that was the biggest house where we did a finished basement and 5 bedrooms to accommodate the size of the family. It didn't change the footprint too much, but it was just a unique
So
build.
basically, the footprint would have been a 12 to 1,500 square foot house.
Yes.
It just that
on the
had,
smaller lot, but we had to accommodate this
but
family
it had a
that
full
had been
basement,
approved.
so it actually added a floor.
And the thing that's been unique and special about Habitat, again, is that every build is different. And I always say what I said to you, is that Habitat is not a handout, it's a hand up.
Right.
And every family story is different. And since I've been with Habitat and have been involved in building homes from Huntington Station out to Orient and from East Quogue to Wyandanch, every situation, every family, every community build is different. But there are 2 days, every day is special, but there are the 2 days that are really special. When the walls go up, when the volunteers are there, like the picture you would see of raising the wall of a barn, that's the Habitat way of everybody grabbing a stud and raising that wall. The family is right there alongside all those volunteers, to the day when we get back together with the volunteers and the family and present the keys to the family, and the emotion there that's involved with the family becoming a homeowner, and that's
Now,
their
do you
home.
do I saw It's a Wonderful Life the other night, okay? And, we know that's what they did. And whenever they had somebody come into a new home, it was at the front door, they would be handing the key over. Is that what you guys do?
Yes.
Is that
yes.
how you do that?
Celebration
That's
on
sweet.
both ends. From when we have the wall-raising ceremony and we have the dedication ceremony, the key presentation is very special.
What about with people in the family that are disabled? Do you make special
Of course.
walkways and
Yes.
and inside the house?
Yes, all of the homes have to be built to be adaptable, but when we're working specifically with a family with needs, then we will build a house according to what those needs are.
Is there
Absolutely.
anything special for someone who's served in the armed forces, that when they come home, God forbid they had an injury or something, or is there a special kind of house that they get, or is it the same procedure?
Our Habitat affiliate has built for veterans. We have built homes that had to be that needed accommodations for a young person in a wheelchair, but we are not a veterans organization. We don't build just for veterans, but we do offer our application and offer our home ownership opportunities to anyone that's interested in coming to us if they fit the income criteria, the job history, work credit, and the
So this is
understanding of
another
partnership.
alternative for veterans to reach out to Habitat.
And to get involved as volunteers.
And to
absolutely.
get involved in volunteers. And again, Les, tell us, if somebody wanted to donate, if somebody wanted to reach out to you and donate furniture or donate money or whatever they may do, or donate their time to help you, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, well, thanks again, Darren, for allowing us to be here and talk about Habitat, especially at this time of the year, time of giving, and a partnership. And habitatsuffolk.org is our website, and really everything can be found. It's very easy, habitatsuffolk.org.
Habitat, and somebody, some people are, hey, you know what, I'm not an internet person. Is there a phone number they can call
Yeah,
over there?
and there again, 631 Habitat. So
631 Habitat.
our area code 631-422-4828, and my extension is 105, just so you get
Okay.
a person and not have to go through the whole voicemail thing.
I get those complaints.
And
when
he
people call
answers
my
the phone,
office.
too.
Yeah, and I get people who call my office too, and they're complaining because I got
gotta
this.
listen.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
listen as they call in. That is fantastic. So now, what was your question?
I don't know, I forgot.
Your question. And I do that to you all the time. and I
forgot.
apologize.
A unique story.
Unique. Yeah, there you go.
Do you have one?
Oh, yes. So, recently, a couple of years ago, we had to do a demolition of a property, of a home that had been donated to us by the town of Southold out in Orient. And we had a major sponsor, a foundation, a family foundation, that was supporting our efforts out there. They had read about the fact that Habitat was coming out to build. And this foundation was founded on the memory of their son, who had been lost to drugs. So the family was there, and the family that was to become a homeowner was there at this demolition ceremony. So different than a wall raising ceremony.
Right.
We had to knock this old eyesore down. The neighbors all came out. The community was out. It was wonderful. And the big crane is there, and they're knocking down the house. And all of a sudden, the crane goes into the middle of the house. They're starting to take the debris out. They're going to put it in the truck, in the dumpsters. And all of a sudden, the guy working the claw stops. He walks into the house, and he comes back out, and out comes a guitar from the middle of this house. The person who had owned the house 15 years ago and had left it was a hoarder. In the middle of that house was this guitar. Well, it turns out that the son, who this foundation had been named for, was a musician, and the logo of the foundation was the guitar.
Wow.
And
It was just,
just one
It's
of those
surreal.
moments.
It's like a surreal moment, right?
And someone who was involved in this build, a volunteer, actually painted an oil painting of that moment, of the house and the guitar coming out of something I'll
That's
always
fantastic.
remember.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is
So-
fantastic.
Again, every build is different. There are stories, but that's just something that, and the folks that sponsored that home, it was a one-time partnership, and it was wonderful to meet them, and it was just a special build. And
I could imagine that being, just
That's a showstopper.
That's a showstopper, right?
Yeah.
And it's, and I'm sure there wasn't a dry eye in the house that afternoon when that was going on.
And then again, coming back months later when the house is complete, when the family is there again for us to celebrate presenting the keys to the young family that was moving into the new house. And it turns out that the homeowner was of a similar age of their son. So it really was a very special build.
So there was a bonding there.
Yes.
Now, do you see that a lot when people come together? Because I'm part of a volunteer organization also, and when people come together to volunteer, you create these bonds. And even though you're only together for a short time, a few months may seem like a lot at the time, but as time goes on, as we all know, it's a very small part of everything for us. Does that bond stay there? Do you still keep in touch with people that you like when you first started out with?
Yeah, it's wonderful to see the families annually. We have a summer picnic.
Okay.
We invite our families to come back. The young children get backpacks with school supplies that are donated through us to the families, and we do the same type of support programs around Thanksgiving and Christmas to provide food packages and gift packages to the families who need it. They'll contact our family service department, and we'll ask them to apply if they need additional support. And we have many volunteers that's the way that they support Habitat, by providing these extra gifts to the families during the course of the year. But we have this reunion picnic, which is wonderful to see some of our families.
So this time of the year is a perfect time to donate to you guys, because you're putting together these baskets so these kids can get presents and more food and things that they need.
Another way people can help us.
Another way people that can help out.
Yep.
We talk about the volunteering and stuff, but money's always a big part of this.
Absolutely.
Right?
Like I said, it costs us over $200,000 to build a house, and we really need the support of the corporate community, the individuals and foundations to help us to continue
So
to build.
do you do an annual fundraiser or a couple of fundraisers?
We have a golf outing in the summer, and really have not done a major fundraising event since our 25th anniversary gala 5 years ago.
5 years, okay.
That was a big one.
So your golf outing, typically where is it?
This last year was at Stonebridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have the next date set?
No, it'll be sometime in September.
Okay, so watch on your website, right?
Absolutely.
And your website is?
HabitatSuffolk.org.
So
Thanks,
Darren. We got to keep it out there, we got to keep it going. So,
Do you have any events coming up? If I wanted to make a donation of tickets and such for shows that you could either sell or give away or whatever, is there something that I can donate to?
That would be when we do our golf outing. We have our prize
Consider it
packages.
done.
Yes, thank you.
Done.
Thank you.
oh, you know what? If it's in September next year, you
See.
have that big event in November, don't you?
Yeah.
Right? That would be a great tie-in.
Oh, good tickets for the
Good tickets for the
gala, for Marty Lyons.
The Marty Lyons Foundation, right?
We could
So
promote
we
it that
tie
way,
in all
too.
these foundations together and work them out. See, I'm thinking for you.
Great.
Giving away his tickets.
I'm giving
Great.
away his tickets.
Let me think for you. Anybody need free accounting services?
There we go.
Go
So
ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
it's your
No, I'm
turn.
going to go to the next page.
you're gonna go to the next page.
Yes.
And we're getting to the end here, right?
We're not getting to the end, we're getting to our next super guest.
We're getting to the
Yes, we are.
our next super guest. Who, when I found out about our next guest, and Les, one more time before we hop over to our next guest, if you could give everybody your contact information.
Yes.
All
So
right,
it's
one more time.
631 Habitat is 631-422-4828, and I'm extension 105, and our website is habitatsuffolk.org.
All right, fantastic.
And I have to say, you are one of the nicest, most articulate, professional people that I deal with.
Norman,
I'm not about anybody else, but I deal with a lot of different people in a lot of different industries. You've always been such a gentleman.
Thank you
So,
very
and
much.
I
appreciate
thank you
that.
for being whom you are and,
Thank you
and
for
the
having
time.
me.
And what you do for a living, you're going up there. That's you can't buy that.
Well, it's you're giving back, and it's not about what you can.
He's
make.
not taking. He's
not
just
taking.
giving.
He's just giving. That's what's great about him and his lovely wife, who is our next guest.
who's really a fireball. She
She's
sits there quiet. But
she sits there quiet, right?
She's not so quiet.
She's nice and calm. She's quiet. Yeah, we know.
She's just waiting. So I'm going to let you handle her. I'm going to back up, and then the two of you can talk.
No, she's fantastic. So, our next guest in our next charity or segment that we're going to be talking about is a charity that actually I only just heard about. We were talking about this. One of the best kept secrets in the tri-state area is an organization called Friends of Karen. All right, and we have Nancy Mariano with us, right? And Nancy, you told me a great story before about getting involved in a lot of great people. That you and Mariano Rivera are actually related because your last name, right?
Go a little closer.
So, Nancy, welcome to the show. Friends, tell us about Friends of Karen and what it's all about.
What do they do?
Okay, you said something first, though, about a lot of people haven't heard about us.
Right.
One of the things we always say that if it's an organization we wish that nobody would ever have to use,
Right.
and that we could go away, and if somebody could cure cancer, you would never have to hear about Friends of Karen.
Right.
And maybe someday that would happen, but what Friends of Karen does is we provide support for families that have children with cancer or any life-threatening illnesses from birth through 21 years of age that live in the tri-state area.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
How do you take care of them? What is it that you do? How do you help them out?
In 3 different ways: financially, emotionally, and we advocate for them. So advocating for them is to make sure they get every service that they need, whether it's social services or different insurance questions, or if they need, they can't afford their mortgage, we will fight with the banks to have that mortgage changed, whether it's over a longer period. Financially, we make sure that co-payments, transportation back and forth to a hospital, medical prescriptions. It's when a single mom might have to decide whether to put food on the table or to pay for a co-payment. No one should have to make that decision.
Absolutely.
Right. Unfortunately, many times burials. We make sure that anything that's associated with the medical condition gets taken care of.
So
As financial aid.
And as we know, if you find out all of a sudden you're being affected, okay, just talk a little bit louder. So you broke my train of thought there, Stephen, but that's okay. If somebody is afflicted with a disease, a life-threatening disease, and that's what we're talking about, right? And it could be anything. A lot of times they don't know what to do. And it's devastating that in itself, where people get into this panic mode and they're not thinking straight. So you'll come in, you'll provide the support that they need. You kind of become their rock, right? You're the go-to person, where they come and we'll use cancer because cancer, everybody is touched by cancer. If somebody in my family was afflicted, my child was afflicted with cancer, you guys would come in and say, hey, Darren, you got to make sure that this, and this are done, and making sure that all the bases are covered. So they're not going through it alone. You're there not only for the financial support, but the emotional support. So you have people that volunteer,
And education.
And staff, and education and things like that. Are those some of the things that
Right.
you guys do?
So the third thing we do is the emotional support, where, of course, we have to take care of the bills and things like that. We don't want them to lose their home while they're fighting for the child's life. And to me, the emotional support is probably the most important. And we consider ourselves a lifeline to these families, and the professional staff that we have of social workers that have been doing this, some of them for 30 years, and sibling support specialists that nobody thinks about the siblings,
Right. Yep.
right? And our art therapists that are able to have the siblings express their fears, their anger.
So you bring the whole family in, And you're working with the whole family? You're working with
Yes.
mom and dad and the kids and the siblings? And
86% of our children have cancer, and cancer is a family event.
Does each child have their individual a therapist or person that works with them, so they get to know each other on a pretty close basis and they can feel comfortable? And especially the child or whoever has the cancer or whatever disease they may have, a one-on-one, so they feel that closeness, so they're that's not a stranger each time they call.
Absolutely not. When they are diagnosed, most of our families come through hospital recommendations to the family. We are in about 26 hospitals. And we're the only ones that do this in the country, by the way, what we do. So when a family is assigned a social worker, that social worker will stay from day of diagnosis through treatment, hopefully cure, and if not, through any bereavement support that they may need.
Who was Karen?
Karen that's a good question.
Thanks.
Karen was the first child that we helped, that a neighbor went door to door trying to raise money so Karen could come home from a hospital. She was terminal. She ended up living 11 months at home under the best situation. There's no place like home.
right.
And when she passed away, there was money left over. And that's when we became a 501c3 40 years ago.
40 years ago.
40.
Right.
That's right. You just celebrated your
Yeah,
40th
40 years.
anniversary, right?
And from one Karen, we've helped 15,500 plus children.
Wow. People watching may say, well, it's only 15,000 over 40 years.
Oh, come on.
But you guys are only working in a small area, right?
Well, tri-state.
The tri-state area, right? So
Right.
you're New York, you're...
It's 15,000 that people
It's
that wouldn't
15,000, but what I'm saying is some of
that
these
wouldn't have
organizations
been
have
helped.
hundreds of thousands of people that they've helped. That's what my point is that you're only working in a small area and you've helped a lot of people when you look at the whole...
It's not a quick fix.
No, never is.
Cancer could be 6 years. It could be maybe 6 months if you're lucky.
Right.
Right, and it's not as serious a cancer as some others, or life-threatening illness that is not as serious. But most of the time, it's a long, long process.
Right.
And it's a very difficult journey. And if anyone tries to do it themselves, and it doesn't matter if you live on Wall Street. That really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
At all. So we make sure that we stay with that family and help them through this journey so they never feel alone. Because you said something in the beginning. It's so confusing when you get a diagnosis. There's so many options now, which is a good thing.
Well, you got to get over the shock in the first place.
Exactly.
That my kid or myself, or I have cancer and it's this degree or that degree. What am I going to do?
Or the different treatments and the challenges of as a parent wanting to make sure you're making the right choice. And a lot of times, none of us are prepared for that as parents. You're not taught
Who
what
would
to
be?
do.
Exactly.
Right?
What do you do and how do you do it?
So when we step in there, our families will say, "I don't feel alone anymore," because it's we're not the medical staff. We
Right.
can't cure the disease, but we're the Christian at the end of the day. They put their head down and they are so grateful that they have this kind of support that they know they could turn to. They can call us at any time, and they know we're there for them. And to answer a question, they get that same person all the time.
I am sure that there are people that are watching and listening to us now that have never heard of Friends of Karen, that need your help, need the information. How do they reach you?
Okay, they can go on our website, friendsofkaren.org, or they can call. We have 3 different offices. I'm just going to concentrate on the Long Island
Okay.
office for the Long Island listening audience, and that's 631-473-1768.
Could you repeat that?
No,
Okay with me.
that was hard enough for me to remember that. You just press the button now, right? You don't have to dial anything.
You know what? I'll repeat it for her.
You repeat it. 631-473-1768, and it's friendsofkaren.org or Friends of Karen on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn.
Okay, so you can find them anywhere. Reach out if you need help or know somebody that needs help. Reach out.
Yesterday
Don't be
was
afraid
Reach
to
Out
ask.
Tuesday.
It was Charity Tuesday.
Charity
yesterday.
Tuesday, I'm
Wonderful
sorry,
day
right.
for us.
Yeah, it was Charity
Right.
Tuesday yesterday.
Yes,
So,
yes,
you know,
that's good.
I wanted to ask you this question because Friends of Karen have been around for 40 years, but haven't been involved with them the whole 40 years. You've been involved with charities for a very, very long time.
I've been
Right.
with them 18 years.
Right?
And before that, I was with Special Olympics for 31 years. And it took me over a year to make the decision to leave Special Olympics and
That
to
was
come
tough.
and to come and open a Long Island office for them because everything was centered out of our headquarters in Westchester. We weren't able to give the personal care like you asked me before. Does a family get that same person? And we want to make sure the personal care is so important. The trust
Right.
is so important. So after a year of deciding, we opened the office. Our Long Island office is in Port Jefferson, and that's where
What is your position with Friends of Karen?
I'm the regional director for Long Island and Queens, and I'm in charge of corporate giving.
You're the boss lady.
No, we have a lot of people that.
Yeah, but
So
Yeah.
now that brings up another great point. She's in charge of corporate giving. So you work with these corporations that will help raise money for your charity, correct?
Yes.
All right. So tell us a little bit
Okay,
about
cancer is a very expensive disease. And to be able to provide the services that we do and to pay the bills, and we have to make sure that we have our resources because we never will turn away a qualified family. Besides just doing the things that I mentioned to you before, we also have giving programs, very much the same as Habitat. Back to School, Holiday Adopt will be over 1,000 kids that we provide gifts for everyone in the family. Friends of Karen is a family,
Wow. Right. So you touch
Right.
everybody.
So if there's 5 siblings, 5 kids are going to get Christmas gifts. So to be able to run the organization and to maintain the support that we offer, we depend on the world to support us and to be partners with us. We really want them to embrace the work we do, not just a one-time thing. We want them to understand the work we do and to be a part of it.
So
to
you package something for each family? Is that how it works when you do the gifts for Christmas?
When we do the gifts, we get lists that each of our social workers reach out to their families, and each of our social workers have a caseload of about 45, 50 families.
Wow.
A lot.
That's a lot.
Too many. If we had more money, we could hire more social workers. And they get the list. And it used to be almost all toys, but 19-year-old, 21-year-old, obviously you can't give a toy, you give a gift card to. And it's sent, everybody that donates to us, we ask them to send it without not being wrapped. And we send it in brown paper to the family so they can wrap their own. We send the wrapping paper so it's not so charitable, and they can present the gifts on the holidays.
Could I offer you the same thing I
Absolutely.
offered Les?
Anytime.
No, you're going to have it for Christmas.
Long Island Gala.
We have the Long Island Gala, which I would, because rather than give tickets to someone, a lot of times people give us sporting tickets for our families or wanted to go to an Islander game or something. Sometimes we get them, we get all excited, and sometimes the child isn't able to go.
Right.
Yeah, I've been there.
Right? So, but we do have an event coming up at Stonebridge. It's our Long Island Gala on March 28th.
March 28th. Okay.
So what do you need for that?
Tickets.
Done.
Good.
Done.
That was easy.
See now.
And
many
Darren's
you got?
accounting
See, now,
services.
wait a second. You said
But I can do it.
you
He also
Don't
easily.
say I can do it.
Well, you offered less before we started the show, the tickets. So you get mad at me for giving less tickets.
I'm not mad at you. I'm just not talking to you.
We do have
I'm
we
teasing.
will have an auction and raffles and any way we could raise that bottom line, and that's always very
Good.
attractive.
What does it cost to attend?
We're still negotiating that with the committee.
Is it going to be open to the public?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We have 2 wonderful honorees and probably between $150, $200 a ticket.
Now, do you have an email list that goes out that you're constantly sending information out and things like that? So if I wanted to get on your email list so I can keep up to date as to when your galleries are happening or when you're doing any other type
All
of
they would
events.
have to do is call.
It's just give a call? Or
Give a call.
Is there
and
a
say they
sign
wanna-
up on the
they-
website
right,
or
exactly.
anything like that?
And I don't think that's a very good point, and maybe there should be to get on an email list.
Mm-hmm.
I can help make your database grow, but I'm not going to tell you how now because it's not for everybody, but I can guarantee to make your database grow.
Okay, that sounds wonderful.
People that you do not know and don't know your organization.
That would be very helpful. But if they call me, they can even ask for me at
Well-
that number.
What number is that?
You're going to make me do this.
I'll do it for you. 631-473-1768. Listen, if you can't donate now and you can't, everybody this time of year is always looking for donations. They're always helpful. If you can't donate to Nancy's charity today, just keep her in mind and do it somewhere down the line. The next time you want to give, think of her charity or think of Habitat.
Or
for
if
Humanity.
you know someone who has a problem and they don't know of Friends of Karen, mention it.
Right.
Mention it. Help your friends out.
It's the biggest gift that anyone can do. I was just going
Yeah.
to say what you just said, that there are so many people that are in a situation and wondering how could this have happened to us, and they don't know which way to turn. And if somebody's listening to this and hears about Friends of Karen and our services, and you have a neighbor or someone you know, tell them to call Friends of Karen. And there's a
At what
process.
phone number? Only kidding.
And there's a process that they have to be a good partner as well.
Well, and that was what I was going to ask you. Are there, qualifications? We know Les says there was qualifications that you have to go through to become part of Habitat for Humanity.
Right. The only if we're going to financially help you, we need to know that you need financial help,
Right. Okay.
because there's so many people that do need it. So
Right.
we want to make sure that there's enough to go around.
Yeah.
So if you don't,
Can't
and
haphazardly just hand out money.
Exactly. And we wouldn't want to do that to our donors. Our donors
Right.
are expecting that we know who we're giving the money to and that it's being used exactly. This is important. We don't give the family the monies. We pay the bills directly.
Oh, okay. See, you know what? I
That's
actually
huge.
like that. I like that because they're not worried. Now the family's not worried about getting a bill in the mail and going, now they're handing the bill over to you and you're
The
taking
car
care
payment,
of
the
it.
mortgage, the rent.
Right.
Because when a family's facing this and that child is in their home and so sick, and they think, it's Christmas time, we're going to get them an electric car,
Right.
right? Or they're going to go on a trip and they're going to come home and there's a padlock, this is a true story, padlock on the door because they didn't pay their mortgage.
Wow.
So we make sure that that's not going to happen. We are not a gift organization. We work with Make-A-Wish and Ronald McDonald House and things like that. But we make sure that the family is going to remain stable.
Right.
And one of the ways we do that is we make sure that they're going to stay in their home. It's going to be warm. The lights are going to be on. There's going to be food on the table. They're going to get the best medical help that they can get. And the only way that we do that is we're pretty strict with all that.
You have some crazy numbers here. I don't know, the year or end type numbers of things and people that you've helped and monies that you've given and whatever. Sensational. You must have some marriage, the two of you. I mean, really.
It's all about giving. It really is.
That's whatever.
Well, I told you guys the story of us meeting initially as a fundraising conference, Philanthropy Day, and we were hanging banners in the Melville Marriott. And there was a business relationship as associates and then friends and then husband and wife, and we've been working together and helping each other tremendously. She's taught me so much. She's truly the professional, the consummate corporate fundraiser and friend to people. The relationship building that Nancy does is tremendous. And when I introduced her to Friends of Karen, she introduced me to Habitat. So this is how our life
Because of
together
him, I
began.
have this job, and
And
because of me,
you,
he has that job.
That's
And both of us
fantastic.
were employed. It wasn't like we were looking.
Well, both of you have been fundraisers, right?
Forever.
Forever.
Yes.
And you've been doing it, working with charities, and you pretty much taken your lives and dedicated to helping others. Because that's really what you're doing. You know, yeah, you're putting food on your own table, but at the same time, you're helping so many more people. And that's what people don't get sometimes, is that it takes a lot of work to do these things. I work for a charity, and there's not a lot of work involved. You're working weekends and nights, I'm sure, and both of you are.
Takes a lot out of your heart and out of yourself. Also, you
I
see
think,
certain
though,
things that
I think you get so much more than you're giving out. Because I could talk for how I feel, and then Les could talk, but what these children and these families go through, and how I just got a letter that was shared from one of the social workers to me, and it was from a mom who wrote this beautiful letter back to our social worker, her name is Beth, about she just received a whole Thanksgiving basket for Thanksgiving and a coupon for a turkey, and she put the letter that was in the package on her front door, and she is so grateful for all the help that she's gotten throughout the year, that as soon as her daughter gets a little bit better, she is going to try to give back. Everything we do, and I didn't mention this, is at no cost to the family. They can't pay us back.
Right.
I mean, if they want to come on board and help us or join our marathon team, you know, we didn't talk about all the fundraising efforts that we do.
we're going to.
Okay, but I'm going to share that story at advisory board. We have 62 people on our Long Island advisory board.
Wow.
And it's not the board of directors, it's just an advisory board. They roll up their sleeves, and their job is to help get the word out there. And Friends of Karen would not be successful without them. And we also have a New York City advisory board, besides our amazing board of directors. But our families is the reason why we all do it. Each one, you asked Les to give you a story. When you was asking that, I could think of every single one of them is a story, because these kids are warriors. What they go through and the strength of them, all they're worried about is most of the time mom. How's mom going to get through this?
Right.
And their sisters and their brothers, and not themselves. So when we all are woe is me about something, we all go through that. It's such a reminder when you see the spirit of these children.
Well, you know, we all, like you just said, all of us sit there and go, woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. And, you know, you hear a lot of people say, you got to be thankful for what you have. And you actually get to see this on a daily basis, on how the little trivial things that go on in our lives really don't matter compared to what these kids are going through. And these kids are going through it like, no big deal.
They're amazing.
You know, and it's, because I've heard those stories 1,000 times, how it seems like the person afflicted is the least affected by the affliction.
It's harder on the family.
Yeah.
In my office, I've given a sign to the people that work there, is count your blessings. And you may have
Yes.
a load of work on your desk,
Right.
but count your blessings.
I just went through 3 months of being in the hospital. 3 months.
As a matter of fact, the Les was supposed to be on in September.
Yes.
And
That
that's
week.
when I had gotten sick. I couldn't make it, and Les wanted to be here when I was here. What I went through, and he's seen me, he's been at the hospital, whatever, is nothing. And I almost lights out for me in the very beginning. But Doc brought me back. But I've seen these kids. You know, when I had to go to Sloan Kettering for somebody else, I see those children being carried by their mom and dad and what they're going through. I mean, it's not the same. I mean, I bitched and complained, okay, because it was affecting me. But you can't, as compared to what it is for a child or some of the other things that people go through. I was very lucky. That's all.
Can I
Can I tell a story?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
go ahead? And then I want to.
okay. his name is Lionel, and he had cancer. I want to say leukemia. I'm not absolutely sure. And he got a Make-A-Wish, and he was going to go to France to help his French, which I learned later he really can't speak French. So that's good. And he got the wish, and then he relapsed. So Make-A-Wish held back that, and he was a friend of Karen family, and came from a very proud family. And when he recovered, Make-A-Wish said, "Okay, it's time to give you the wish." He said, "I don't want my wish. I want the money that you were going to give me and my family to go to France. I want you to give it to Friends of Karen."
Wow.
Now, there's a lot of nonprofit rules, so a nonprofit isn't, if you give Friends of Karen money, you're expecting it to go to the family, so, right? And Make-A-Wish has their own. So Make-A-Wish went to their board and said, "This is what this child wants,"
That's their wish.
Yeah. And the wish was granted.
Wow. That's
Right.
fantastic. That is fantastic. Well, it goes to, like he was saying, it's like you're so thankful for the things that you have. Now you want to help others.
Yeah. And he's in college, and I just got
that's
an
great.
Email today that I'll be home in December. Can we have lunch? And you
nice.
asked,
That's great.
with the relationships stay with so many of these families.
It's very similar to what Les goes through, where you create those bonds, and your bonds are, super tight because of the situation.
And you have the flip side, because unfortunately we do lose children.
Yeah.
Not as many as we used to, thank goodness to the medical advancements, but we lose children. And so you have that other side,
Right. Yeah.
the sadness.
Yeah. So we're coming to
I just want to
the
add,
end. So
can I
I
add
don't-
one quick story?
Absolutely.
Friends of Karen story, because you didn't mention Evelyn and Luke, but to give back. Friends of Karen every year has had a team, a lot of people, hundreds of people involved at the Long Island Marathon, running the 5K, 10K, half marathon, full marathon, to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for Friends of Karen. Evelyn's son Luke was diagnosed with cancer 10 years ago,
Like
almost 15.
Yeah.
Luke survived, but because they were helped by Friends of Karen, Evelyn put a team together to run to support Friends of Karen. So the family was helped, and now 15
And
years
now
later,
the
Luke
years-
is a 6'1" healthy teenager. The whole family comes from Connecticut to participate still in the Long Island
Wow.
Marathon.
That's
Cool. Good story.
That is fantastic.
We honored her at Stonebridge, the event that is coming up in March last year, the whole
Right.
family. So Luke, who we know as a little guy, is now like, I don't know, 6-something, and his whole family cried on stage. Luke spoke
wow.
on his own behalf. His mom spoke crying and everything. And
I'm sure she's quite
it's such a
grateful.
beautiful story,
Great
and they're
journey.
still involved.
Well, see,
Before we
that-
get late, let's talk about your events that are coming up
Yeah,
so
what's
people
coming
can attend.
Okay, we just had our gala in Manhattan. We have
How'd that gala do?
It was amazing. 40th anniversary, and we worked so hard. All the Friends of Karen from every office, and
How many people did you have?
650
Whoa.
in Manhattan, and we raised close to $1.2 million.
Wow, fantastic.
Great number.
Amazing event.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And that helps, but it's not enough. It never
Well,
is.
it's not enough.
It's never
That
enough.
brings us back to here.
So
Right.
one more time, if you could let everybody know how they
I thought
can.
you were gonna do that for me.
I'll you know what, I'll do it for you, Nancy. All right, if you want to get a hold of Friends of Karen, or you want to donate or reach out to them to see how you can help, you can either call them at 631-473-1768, reach them at friendsofkaren.org, that's their website, on Facebook, Friends of Karen, on Twitter, Friends of Karen, or LinkedIn, Friends-of-Karen.
Very good.
Okay, so that's how you can reach them. So I do this every time we have the charities on. Please reach out and help. Everybody needs help. If you can't do it now, if you can't, contribute money now, think of them about the next time you have some.
You write it
extra
down, put
dollars
it on
you
your
can do.
refrigerator.
Yeah,
Les, again, give your
one more
phone
time,
number
Les.
so that
It's-
people can get in touch with you
Thanks
too.
again. It's 631-HABITAT. That's 631-422-4828. And habitatsuffolk.org is the website.
All right.
Do you have any events coming coming up at Habitat that you want to talk about?
Just every week we're building, so we need teams to come out and help us to build. Volunteers can sign up as walk-on volunteers, and we'll build through the winter year-round.
And business owners, team building exercise, contact less. You can get your team out there. You can really do some team building together by swinging some hammers.
Do you
All
have
right?
any more events coming?
That's the next. The next one is on Long Island is the gala,
Okay.
All right.
and then we go right to the Long Island Marathon after that. In
Okay.
May.
All right. So thank you guys for being
Thank
on the
you.
show. We really
Thank you.
appreciate
You're a
it.
great guest.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Great guest.
All right.
Really good.
All right,
So what's
my
coming
friend.
up with you?
Well, let's talk about you. You got.
Okay, let's
this
talk
weekend.
about
You got
me.
something. You got something coming up this weekend, don't you?
Yeah, Friday night, we have John Fogerty concert.
Right.
Creedence Clearwater Revival. The show is doing really, really good. I think we have about 20 tickets left.
Wow.
You know, they've done very, very well, so I'm excited about that. And then we have Donna Summer shows coming up. We have the Temptations and Gladys Knight and the Pips coming up in
And if people want to find out this information, where can they find it?
they're going to go to 631-698-9696. That's 631-698-9696. And on Sunday, those of you that like bingo, I'm going to be a bingo host for Camp Good Morning. I don't know, did you ever hear of Camp Good Morning? It came to my attention because morning was spelled Mourning, and it's about kids that have lost a parent. And since I lost a parent
Parent
at
or
the
sibling.
age of 10, okay, it hit me. So we hooked up.
Where is it? Where?
It's
where
going to
else
be
are
in,
they, though?
and that's what I mean. If you call me at 631-698-9696, I can give you all the information. And it's bingo. Who doesn't like to play bingo?
No, everybody loves to play bingo.
Okay, well, you got
All right.
45 seconds.
I got 45 seconds. I got a lot of things going on.
Go for it.
Next Wednesday, Building the Business Owners Roadmap at the Miller Business Center in Center Reach. Okay, sign up, guys. Sign up. Seats are starting to fill up over there. Okay, that's going to be Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. It starts 8:30, coffee and donuts and a little schmoozing. And then on Friday from 5:30 to 7:30, I'm going to be at the local authors showcase, because as we know, I wrote a book. And I'm going to be there from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Middle Country Library in Center Reach.
You serving dinner?
Actually, no, we're
5:30 to
not
on a
serving dinner.
Friday night?
I do have a Christmas party to go to.
All right.
And for those of you who want to get in touch with me, you can reach me at 631-721-4347, or my website is cbms.co, no com, just .co, or on Facebook, CBMS Consulting. So I want to thank everybody. I want to thank our guests for being
Great
on the
guest.
show tonight.
Great guest
All
tonight.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Have a great week. Have fun. Keep on eating because it's December now, so
It's
now it's
right. It's
time
just
to
gonna keep going.
Keep on going and going and going. All right.
All right. Have a good night,
everybody.
Today's show is brought to you by Friend Entertainment USA, producing the best concerts for charities and corporations for over 30 years. And CBMS Consulting Services. Control your business before it controls you. In association with Area 22 Productions, your multimedia streaming network. If you're interested in being a guest on our show, visit our website at www.bphdmm.com for more information.